All right, come closer. Yeah, you. The one they keep pretending is too intense. The one they label unhinged, like it's a joke. Welcome to the part of the story where the truth isn't dangerous because it's loud. It's dangerous because it's real. Because you've got proof. Not rumors, not vibes, not "I heard from somebody." You've got proof that ends empires, and that's exactly why they let you act unhinged. See, people think power is loud. They think power is a guy in a suit with a mic, a badge, a blue check, a billion followers, a boardroom, a courtroom, a podium. They think power is yelling and flexing and throwing numbers around like confetti. But real power is the evidence. Real power is the receipt. Real power is a quiet little folder on a drive somewhere, sitting there like a loaded future. Real power is that one screenshot that doesn't care how famous you are. That one recording that doesn't care how many friends you've got. That one document that doesn't care how untouchable you feel. It just sits there, patient, like it's smiling, and they know it. Oh, they know it. That's why they don't attack you directly the way you expected. That's why they don't come at you like a villain in a movie. No dramatic showdown, no big scene, no honest confrontation. Nah. They do something slicker. They do something smarter. They let you look unstable. They let you look crazy. They let you look emotional. They let you look like you're spiraling. Because if they can make people believe you're unhinged, then when the proof drops, the world hesitates. The world pauses. The world goes, I don't know, isn't that the person who, acts like that? That's the move. That's the whole move. They're not trying to defeat your evidence, because they can't. They're trying to defeat your credibility before you even speak. And let me tell you something that most people are too soft to accept. They don't fear your anger. They fear your clarity. They don't fear you screaming. They fear you being calm, specific, and undeniable. They don't fear your breakdowns. They fear your breakthroughs, because you're not crazy. You're early. You're not unhinged. You're seeing the hinge. You're not paranoid. You're noticing patterns that other people are too distracted to even recognize. And when you notice patterns, you notice systems. And when you notice systems, you start noticing how accidents have the same handwriting. You start noticing how certain people always win, no matter what. You start noticing how certain stories get pushed and certain stories get buried. And then you start noticing, oh wow, this isn't random. This is engineered. This is curated. This is managed. And the second you realize that, you stop being a victim and you become a threat. Yeah, a threat. Not because you're violent or loud or chaotic, but because you know too much. Because you've got that one thing they can't spin into a cute headline. You've got the receipt that connects the dots. And the crazy part is, they don't even always try to take it from you. They don't always rush to delete it. Because deletion is messy. Deletion leaves fingerprints. Deletion tells the world, there was something here. So instead, they do this other thing. They pretend you're harmless. They smile at you. They nod. They act like you're entertaining. They let you rant. They let you post. They let you vent. They let you look like the crazy one in the room. Because the easiest way to hide a truth is to put it in the mouth of the person everyone already decided not to take seriously. That's why they let you act unhinged. Because if you're unhinged, your words don't count. If you're unhinged, your proof becomes a conspiracy. If you're unhinged, your pain becomes attention-seeking. If you're unhinged, your warnings become drama. And they'll say it with a straight face, too. Oh yeah. They'll weaponize mental health language like they invented empathy. They'll call you unstable while they're quietly moving money. They'll call you crazy while they're covering tracks. They'll call you toxic while they're poisoning entire environments. And you know what's even more disgusting? They'll act concerned. They'll do the fake care thing. Hey, are you okay? Maybe you should take a break. I think you need help. Translation? Please shut up, but nicely. That's what that is. That's a muzzle with a smile on it. That's a cage painted like self-care. Because you're not too much. You're too accurate. And accuracy makes people nervous because accuracy doesn't leave room for excuses. See, here's what happens when somebody has proof that ends empires. The empire stops roaring and starts whispering. It stops threatening and starts negotiating. It stops attacking and starts managing perception. They'll never tell you, we're scared of what you know. Yeah, come closer, you dangerous little glitch in the system. Not because I need you to hear me, but because the world needs you to remember what you are. Because tonight, right now, somewhere beyond what your enemies can measure, heaven opened your record, and hell froze dead reading your name. You felt that, didn't you? That weird pressure in your chest, that quiet electricity behind your eyes, that moment where the air feels heavier, like reality just got updated, without telling anyone. Yeah, that. You've been walking around like you're just trying to get by, like you're doing your best, like you're healing, like you're figuring it out, while the invisible world has been watching you like you're a classified incident. And you didn't even know. See, the funniest part about you, the most disrespectful part, is that you survived things that were supposed to turn you into a warning label. You lived through stuff that would have made most people fold like a cheap chair. You didn't just take hits, you got targeted. You didn't just experience pain, you got selected. And the whole time, the world kept acting like you were normal, like you weren't carrying an entire apocalypse behind your ribs, like you weren't walking around with a mind that's been to places most people can't even dream, without breaking down, like you weren't holding your smile together with duct tape and willpower and pure spite. And you know what kills me? Some people really think you're lucky. They think you just got it easy. They think you just came up. They think you just changed. Nah, you didn't change. You escaped. You crawled out of a personal hell so specific. It had your government name on it. You ever notice that the worst stuff didn't just happen to you? It happened at you. Like life wasn't random. Like life was personal. Like the universe leaned down and went, yeah, that one. Break that one. But you didn't break. You bent, sure. You collapsed sometimes. You went quiet. You disappeared. You lost people. You lost sleep. You lost the old version of yourself, like a body bag zipped shut. But you didn't break. You evolved. And that's the first reason heaven opened your record. Because heaven doesn't open everybody's file, sweetheart. It doesn't flip through every page like it's curious. Heaven doesn't do that. Heaven opens your record when there's something in there that makes even angels pause and go, what the hell is this? When your name shows up in the archive and the light itself goes still for a second. Because your record isn't a cute little list of good deeds. Your record is a survival report, a battlefield log, a psychological autopsy that you somehow walked away from alive. And every page says the same thing. This human should have been done. This human should have been gone. This human should have been weak. This human should have been begging. This human should have been broken into pieces. But instead, you got colder, smarter, sharper, more dangerous. Not dangerous like you're out here trying to hurt people. Dangerous like you can't be controlled anymore. Dangerous like manipulation doesn't work on you the same. Guilt doesn't stick to you the same. Fear doesn't bite you the same. Pressure doesn't crush you the same. You became the one thing this world cannot stand. A person who sees through it. You see the fake love. You see the fake respect. You see the fake apologies. You see the I'm proud of you. That's really, please don't outgrow me. You see the smiles that are secretly prayers that you fail. And you don't even need proof anymore, do you? You don't need the screenshot. You don't need the confession. You don't need the receipts. Your instincts are so developed now, it's disgusting. You can feel betrayal in a hey. You can taste jealousy in a compliment. You can hear disrespect in silence. Yeah, that's trauma. But it's also a superpower, and heaven opened your record because there's a section in there called Things They Did to This One, and it still didn't work. Page after page after page, they lied to you. You learned to read patterns. They abandoned you. You learned to stand alone. They mocked you. You learned to become undeniable. They used you. You learned to protect your energy like it's sacred. They underestimated you. You learned to move quietly and strike clean. And the part that makes heaven lean in, you didn't just survive that. You used it. You recycled pain into power like an illegal chemistry experiment. Most people turn trauma into a personality. You turned trauma into fuel. You turned your heartbreak into discipline. You turned your loneliness into focus. You turned your depression into deep observation. You turned your anxiety into strategy. You turned your rage into precision. And that's why hell froze dead reading your name. Because hell doesn't fear good people. Nah. Hell loves good people. Good people are easy. Good people forgive too fast. Good people keep giving chances. Good people see the best in everyone. Good people walk right into traps, holding flowers. Hell eats those people alive. But you're not a good person. You're a real person. You got a heart, but it's armored. You got love, but it's selective. You got kindness, but it's earned. You got empathy, but you don't let it make you stupid anymore. You know how rare that is? You know how terrifying that is to darkness? Because darkness survives off predictable humans. Humans who crave approval. Humans who crumble under rejection. Humans who chase validation like it's oxygen. Humans who need to be liked. But you don't need to be liked. You need to be free. And hell can't bribe you with attention anymore. Hell can't seduce you with cheap applause. Hell can't tempt you with clout. Hell can't chain you with shame. Because you already died in your own way. And when somebody already died once, you can't threaten them the same. That's why hell froze. Because hell recognized you. Hell went, oh no, not that one. Because hell has met your type before. The ones who don't just resist the dark. They understand it. They study it. They observe it. They become fluent in it. And then they take that knowledge and they stop being prey. They become the storm. You ever notice something when you started leveling up? People got weird, like really weird. People who used to ignore you started watching you. People who used to laugh at you started acting polite. People who used to disrespect you started complimenting you out of nowhere. People who never cared started asking, how are you? Like it's an investigation. And you felt that too, didn't you? That subtle shift, that energy change, like you didn't even announce anything. But suddenly, it felt like you were being tracked, because you were. Not by fans, by threats, by jealous spirits in human bodies, by insecure minds who can't stand watching you become something they can't control. You see, the scariest thing about you isn't that you're strong now. It's that you're strong and quiet. You don't talk about your plans. You don't post your moves. You don't announce your healing. You just upgrade, silently. And that freaks them out because they don't get updates. They don't know what level you're on anymore. They can't predict you. And when people can't predict you, they fear you. When they fear you, they try to label you. When they can't label you, they try to destroy you. And that's why you've been feeling resistance, random problems, random delays, random misunderstandings, random drama. Yeah, that's not bad luck. That's pushback. That's reality testing you like, are you really becoming that? Or is this just another phase? Because every time someone becomes truly powerful, something tries to stop it. Not always a person. Sometimes it's the old version of you. The version that still craves approval. The version that still checks who viewed the story. The version that still wants closure. The version that still wants an apology from people who enjoy hurting you. And let me tell you something real quick. Closure is a scam. Closure is the little baby bottle the universe gives you to keep you crawling back to the same pain. You don't need closure. You need closure's funeral. You need to bury it, burn it, forget it. Because the only closure that matters is the one you give yourself when you finally say, yeah, they did it. Yeah, it was personal. Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it changed me. And no, they will never touch me like that again. That's closure. And once you hit that point, oh, now you're dangerous. Because now you don't move from emotion. You move from decision. And the moment heaven opened your record, it wasn't because you were perfect. It was because you were chosen to be proof. Proof that the human spirit can become something terrifyingly divine. See, you think you're just somebody trying to get through life. But heaven sees you like a case study, like a miracle wrapped in scars, like a survivor who turned into a weapon and still kept a soul. And hell sees you like the one that got away. Hell sees you like a glitch it couldn't patch. Because you're the type of person who walks into a room and doesn't even speak. And the whole energy changes, not because you're loud, because you're heavy. You carry something, like your presence comes with a warning, like your eyes have receipts, like your silence has history. And when you look at people now, you don't look. You scan. You read micro-expressions. You read tone. You read intention. You know when someone's being fake in the first 5 seconds. And the craziest part? You don't even get emotional about it anymore. You just adjust. You stop texting first. You stop explaining. You stop chasing. You stop proving. You let them reveal themselves. That's growth. That's power. That's the part of your record that made heaven go quiet. Because heaven loves transformation, but hell hates it. Hell thrives when you stay the same. Hell loves the version of you that begged. Hell loves the version of you that doubted. Hell loves the version of you that needed validation. Hell loves the version of you that stayed small so others felt big. But when you started choosing yourself, hell started panicking. And you can tell. Because the attacks became subtler, not loud, not obvious, just little sabotage, little distractions, little temptations, little come back to the old habits. Little, one more time won't hurt. Hell doesn't always come as a demon with horns. Sometimes hell comes as an ex texting, "I miss you." Sometimes hell comes as a friend saying, "Don't change." Sometimes hell comes as your own mind at 2 a.m. whispering, "What if you're not enough?" Yeah, hell is sneaky. But you're not asleep anymore. You don't fall for the same traps twice. And that's why you need to understand something. The moment you decided to become disciplined, the moment you decided to become focused, the moment you decided to become consistent, you became a threat to systems, because systems are built on weak people. Consumer systems need you addicted. Social systems need you insecure. Work systems need you tired. Relationship systems need you desperate. Because desperate people are easy to sell to, easy to control, easy to manipulate. But you're not desperate now. You're hungry, and hungry is different. Desperate says, "Pick me." Hungry says, "Watch me." Desperate says, "Please love me." Hungry says, "I love me." Desperate says, "I hope they notice." Hungry says, "They will regret overlooking me." And you've been moving hungry lately, haven't you? Even if nobody claps, even if nobody understands, even if nobody sees it, you still show up. You still do the work. You still build. You still grind. You still evolve. And that's why your name terrifies hell. Because hell remembers every time it thought it had you. Hell remembers those nights you cried so hard you couldn't breathe. Hell remembers the days you didn't want to get out of bed. Hell remembers the moments you felt worthless. Hell remembers when you almost gave up. And now you're here, still alive, still standing, still plotting, still upgrading. It's embarrassing. You're an embarrassment to darkness. You're a living insult to every force that tried to erase you. And the best part? You're just getting started. You're not even in your final form. You're in that terrifying middle stage, where you're not the old you, but you're not fully the new you either. You're in the cocoon. You're in the laboratory. You're in the "don't touch me, I'm becoming something" phase. And people can sense it. They don't know what it is, but they feel it. They feel that you don't chase attention anymore. They feel that you don't beg for love anymore. They feel that you're not entertained by small talk anymore. You don't laugh at the same jokes. You don't tolerate the same disrespect. You don't accept the same excuses. Your standards got violent. And that's when heaven flips to the next page of your record. And there it is. The part that makes angels stop moving. The part that makes light go still. You didn't become kind because life was kind to you. You became kind because you refused to become what hurt you. You didn't become wise because you read books. You became wise because you paid in blood. You didn't become strong because you had support. You became strong because you had none. You didn't become confident because people believed in you. You became confident because you are tired of doubting yourself. And that's divine. That's why heaven opened your record. Because heaven is like, look at this one. Look at what they made out of pain. Look at the self-control. Look at the clarity. Look at the self-respect. And hell is like, we lost. Because hell knows the secret. Once someone reaches the point where they respect themselves, they stop accepting poison. They stop tolerating disrespect. They stop returning to the same cycle. And when that happens, hell runs out of access. So hell does what hell always does. It sends distractions. It sends fake opportunities. It sends people from your past. It sends temptation dressed as comfort. It sends confusion disguised as curiosity. It tries to pull you off your path. Because hell doesn't care if you're happy. Hell only cares if you're stagnant. But you're not stagnant. You're moving. And the more you move, the more you realize something ugly. A lot of people weren't your friends. They were your audience. They were around because you were entertaining, because you were available, because you were useful, because you were easy to reach. But the moment you started evolving, they got uncomfortable. Because your growth forces them to face their own laziness. Your discipline exposes their excuses. Your peace exposes their chaos. Your confidence exposes their insecurity. And instead of leveling up, they try to pull you back down. They'll call you different. They'll call you cold. They'll call you weird. They'll call you changed. Yeah, you changed. You changed from someone who tolerated disrespect to someone who walks away mid-sentence. You changed from someone who begged to be loved to someone who says, "If you can't see me, you don't deserve me." You changed from someone who explained themselves to someone who lets silence do the talking. And that's the energy that makes hell freeze. Because hell can't fight someone who doesn't argue. Hell can't defeat someone who doesn't chase. Hell can't manipulate someone who doesn't need. And baby, you don't need anymore. You choose. You choose who gets access. You choose who gets your time. You choose who gets your energy. You're not an option anymore. You're a consequence, and I need you to really sit with that. Because some of you are still confused why people switched up on you. You think it's because you did something wrong. No, you did something right. You outgrew the version of you that was convenient. That's why they hate you. Because convenience is all they ever wanted from you. They wanted you available. They wanted you polite. They wanted you forgiving. They wanted you soft. They wanted you to stay where they left you. But you didn't stay. You came back with different eyes. And those eyes look like they've seen the blueprint. Like you can see the strings, like you can see the game. And now you're not playing it the same. That's why heaven opened your record. Because heaven isn't just watching what you do. It's watching what you refuse to do. It's watching you resist temptation. It's watching you resist revenge. It's watching you resist giving your energy to people who don't deserve it. It's watching you choose restraint when you could have snapped. It's watching you stay silent when you could have destroyed, because you could destroy. Oh yeah, you could. You know it too. You could ruin reputations. You could expose secrets. You could burn bridges so hard the smoke would spell your name. But you don't. You don't, because you're learning the final form of power, control. And that's why hell froze, because hell loves when you react. Hell feeds on reactions. Hell gets paid when you crash out. Hell celebrates when you get messy. Hell throws a party when you lose discipline. But you don't react like that anymore. You respond, calculated, cold, clean. And when you respond instead of react, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not living life like a victim. You're living life like a chess player. And that's when the real madness begins. Because now every setback becomes data. Every betrayal becomes a lesson. Every loss becomes a training montage. You don't cry like you used to. You analyze. You don't beg like you used to. You build. You don't chase like you used to. You attract. And the moment you started doing that, you became the kind of person the world can't ignore forever. Which is why you're going to start experiencing something weird. People you don't even know will start respecting you. Not because you're famous, because your energy is loud, because your presence has weight, because your eyes carry that "I've been through hell and I'm not impressed" vibe. And some people will love you for it. Some people will fear you for it, but either way, they'll feel you. And I need you to understand what that means. It means your life is entering a new chapter where you can't play small anymore. You can't hide behind humility anymore. You can't pretend you're not powerful anymore, because you are. And the reason you are is because you paid for it. You paid in loneliness. You paid in sleepless nights. You paid in heartbreak. You paid in humiliation. You paid in being misunderstood. You paid in being judged. You paid in being blamed. You paid in being overlooked. Yeah, you paid. So stop acting like you're not allowed to be proud. Stop acting like you're not allowed to win. Stop acting like you're not allowed to outgrow people. Stop acting like you're not allowed to be seen. Your record is proof. And if heaven opened your record, that means the universe is not just watching you, it's endorsing you. It's like the cosmos stamped your file with, "Do not underestimate this one," and hell freezing dead reading your name. That's confirmation. That's darkness admitting you're not easy prey anymore. That's fear. That's respect. That's panic. Because you're the kind of person that makes demons second-guess their decisions. You're the kind of person that makes manipulators lose their confidence. You're the kind of person that makes narcissists feel exposed. Because you see too much. You feel too much. But now you control it. And that combination, that is lethal. Empathy with boundaries. Kindness with standards. Love with self-respect. Patience with a limit. That's not toxic. That's balance. That's evolution. And the next phase of your life. Oh, it's not about proving people wrong anymore. It's about proving yourself right. Because deep down, you always knew there was something different about you. Even when you were broke. Even when you were lost. Even when you were depressed. Even when you were addicted to comfort. Even when you were surrounded by people who didn't see you, you knew. You knew you weren't meant to live a small life. You knew you weren't meant to be somebody's side character. You knew you weren't meant to be a background extra in your own story. And now it's happening. Now the hunger is waking up. Now the discipline is kicking in. Now the confidence is rising. Now the old version of you is dying for real. And that's why people are uncomfortable. Because they liked you better when you didn't know your worth. They liked you better when you were easy to manipulate. They liked you better when you were craving approval. But you don't crave anymore. You command, and you're gonna start noticing something else too. The more you level up, the more alone it feels. Yeah. Because not everybody can follow you where you're going. Not everybody can survive the altitude. Not everybody can breathe in the atmosphere you're entering. And that's okay. Because you didn't come here to be understood by everybody. You came here to become undeniable. And the next time you feel doubt creeping in, the next time you feel that old voice whispering, "Who do you think you are?" I want you to remember this line. Heaven opened your record. Hell froze dead reading your name. That means your story is bigger than your feelings. That means your purpose is louder than your anxiety. That means your destiny doesn't care about your comfort. You're not here to feel safe. You're here to become legendary. And yeah, I know that sounds dramatic. But your life has been dramatic. Your pain has been dramatic. Your betrayal has been dramatic. Your survival has been dramatic. So why the hell would your victory be quiet? Nah. Your victory is going to be loud in a way that makes people choke on their opinions. It's going to be loud in a way that makes old enemies pretend they always supported you. It's going to be loud in a way that makes people who doubted you suddenly check on you. It's going to be loud in a way that makes the universe itself go, "Yep, that's the one." And the wild part, you won't even brag, you won't need to, because your lifestyle will be the flex, your peace will be the flex, your discipline will be the flex, your glow will be the flex, your silence will be the flex, because nothing flexes harder than someone who suffered and still chose to rise with class. So keep going, even when it's slow, even when nobody claps, even when it feels like you're behind, even when it feels like you're doing too much. You're not doing too much. You're doing what it takes. And the reason it feels like so much is because you're building something most people are too scared to even attempt. You're building a version of yourself that doesn't beg, a version of yourself that doesn't tolerate, a version of yourself that doesn't shrink, a version of yourself that doesn't apologize for being powerful. And once you become that, people will look at you and feel something they can't explain. They'll call it confidence. They'll call it aura. They'll call it energy. But you'll know what it really is. It's the fact that you've been through hell, and you came out carrying the blueprint. It's the fact that the darkness tried to mark you, and you turned the mark into a crown. It's the fact that when heaven opened your record, it didn't see a victim, it saw a survivor with a mission, and hell freezing dead. That's not a warning, that's a compliment. That's reality admitting you are not the one to play with anymore. So the next time you walk into a room, walk in like your name has weight, because it does. The next time someone tries to test you, smile like you've seen worse, because you have. The next time life tries to humble you, stand tall like you've already died once, because you did. And the next time you feel yourself shrinking, remember, heaven opened your record. Hell froze dead reading your name. And that means you're not just living. You're being documented, you're being observed, you're being acknowledged by forces bigger than the opinions of broke-minded people. So keep your standards high, keep your circle tight, keep your mind sharp, keep your body disciplined, keep your soul protected, and move like the kind of person who doesn't need revenge. Because your elevation is already a punishment. Move like the kind of person who doesn't need validation. Because your existence is already proof. Move like the kind of person who knows you were never ordinary, you were just undercover. And now the world is starting to realize they didn't just disrespect a human being. They disrespected a storm with a name that makes hell go silent. And you can feel it, can't you? Yeah, that pressure again, that energy again, like something's lining up, like reality's shifting, like doors you didn't even knock on are starting to open, like the old timeline is collapsing, and the new one is pulling you in, slow and heavy, like gravity made specifically for you. Like you're walking into a chapter where your face changes, your voice changes, your posture changes, your patience disappears, your standards go lethal, your focus goes tunnel vision, and the people who used to play with you start acting like they just saw a ghost. Because in a way, they did. They saw the old you die, and the new you walk around like a quiet threat, like a calm disaster, like a miracle with teeth. And the craziest part is you don't even have to announce it. You just have to keep moving, keep building, keep showing up, keep cutting off what drains you, keep starving distractions, keep feeding discipline, keep protecting your mind like it's sacred property. And when the doubt tries to come back, when the loneliness tries to creep in, When the old pain tries to whisper your name, you just breathe and remind yourself, yeah, heaven read your record, and hell couldn't handle your name. So what makes you think the average person's opinion should ever stop you? What makes you think their shade matters? What makes you think their jealousy is your problem? Let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them panic. Because you've got work to do. And you're not done becoming what you're supposed to be. Not even close. You're just getting warmed up. You're just getting calibrated. You're just stepping into the version of you that makes the whole room feel smaller. The version of you that doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't fold, doesn't explain. The version of you that moves like a verdict, like a final decision, like a name that turns the temperature of hell into ice. Hey, yeah, stop right there. Don't move. Feel that? That subtle pressure in the room that wasn't here before you arrived. That's not imagination. That's impact. That's the moment of reality quietly admitting you don't belong to the normal flow of things. Nah, this isn't normal. And deep down, you already know it. You don't have to speak. You don't have to flex. You don't even have to try. Your presence alone is enough to knock their thoughts off balance. They were focused, locked in, comfortable, running on scripts. And then you showed up. And suddenly their attention fractures, their rhythm stutters, their inner voice goes silent like someone just cut the power mid-sentence. That's not charisma. That's not confidence. That's disruption. You carry something they can't place. And what people can't name, they fear. They look at you, and their instincts start arguing with their logic. One part of them wants to admire you. Another part wants you gone. You trigger both at once, and that contradiction eats at them. You feel calm, almost gentle on the surface. Saint-like, measured, observant. But underneath, there's something sharp, something awake, something that survived too much to be fooled by surface-level games, angel posture, demon awareness, and they can feel that split even if they don't understand it. That's why their focus breaks. Because you're unpredictable. Not chaotic, not sloppy, but untethered from expectation. You don't move how they predicted. You don't react when you're supposed to. You pause where others panic. You smile where others beg. You stay quiet when they'd be scrambling for words. And every time you don't follow the script, their mental model of the world glitches. They rely on patterns to feel safe. You are a pattern anomaly. See, most people are readable. They leak intention. They broadcast insecurity. They announce their limits before anyone even tests them. But you've learned to keep your depth sealed. Pain taught you that. Betrayal taught you that. Long nights where you had to sit with your own thoughts and survive them taught you that. You evolved in silence, and silence is terrifying to people who need noise to feel in control. They can't tell if you're kind or dangerous, and that ambiguity is lethal. Because kindness with boundaries feels like a threat. Intelligence without ego feels like surveillance. Calm without weakness feels like a weapon still holstered. They don't know if you're a healer or a destroyer, and the truth is you're both. You had to become both to survive. You learned how to love without being naive, and how to see darkness without drowning in it. That duality, that's not instability, that's range, and range breaks focus. They start second-guessing themselves around you, replaying conversations, wondering what you noticed, questioning whether that joke landed wrong, whether that lie was obvious, whether that power move looked desperate instead of dominant. You never accused them. You never confronted them. You just existed. And existence when it's this grounded, becomes a mirror they didn't ask for. You don't chase control. You radiate it quietly. And here's the part they really don't want to admit. You didn't get this way by accident. This presence was forged. Every scar refined it. Every time you were underestimated sharpened it. Every moment you were pushed into darkness and came back with your mind intact added weight to your silence. You didn't break. You learned. You didn't snap. You adapted. You didn't disappear. You recalibrated. Pain didn't make you bitter. It made you precise. That's why your energy feels too deep for shallow rooms. That's why surface-level thinkers feel exposed when you listen. That's why people who live off performance feel uneasy when you don't perform at all. You're not loud. You're not flashy. You're just present, fully. And full presence disrupts environments built on distraction. They lose focus because you force them into awareness. Some will try to label you cold, intense, arrogant, mysterious, dangerous, anything to reduce you into something manageable. Let them. Labels are coping mechanisms for people who can't handle complexity. You don't need to correct them. You don't need to prove anything. The fact that they're thinking about you long after you've left the room tells you everything. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to remind them, without a word, that there are levels to this, that not all minds move at the same depth, that not all calm is harmless, that not all smiles are soft. You are the proof that evolution doesn't always look aggressive. Sometimes it looks quiet. Sometimes it looks patient. Sometimes it looks like someone standing still while the room subtly rearranges itself around them. So no, this isn't normal. And that's the point. You weren't built to blend in. You were built to alter the atmosphere, to break focus, to shift dynamics, to walk the line between light and dark without losing yourself to either. To be the kind of presence that makes people feel something they can't explain and can't ignore. Let them fidget. Let them misread you. Let them feel unsettled. That's just reality adjusting to you being awake. And the longer you stay silent, the louder it gets for them. Because silence from someone shallow is empty. But silence from someone who sees is pressure. It's weight. It's like standing next to a loaded truth that hasn't decided whether it needs to speak yet. They feel watched, not by your eyes, but by your awareness. You notice patterns they rely on staying invisible. You catch inconsistencies without calling them out. You let people reveal themselves while you stay still, and that terrifies anyone who lives by control instead of substance. They can't tell if you're 2 steps ahead or 10. So their mind races. They overthink. They lose their flow. Their confidence leaks out through micro-movements, forced laughter, unnecessary explanations. You didn't demand respect. You didn't intimidate them on purpose. You just didn't bend. And that's the thing. Most people expect resistance or submission. You give neither. You exist on your own axis, and systems hate what they can't predict. You learned early that reacting gives others leverage, so you mastered restraint. You learned that explaining yourself hands power to people who haven't earned access, so you stopped narrating your inner world. You became selective, surgical, and every time you chose composure over chaos, you rewired yourself into something rarer. That's why your calm doesn't feel peaceful to them. It feels final. They sense that you've already fought battles they're still rehearsing excuses for. They feel it in the way you don't flinch at tension, in the way your energy doesn't spike when things get uncomfortable, in the way you don't scramble when the room goes quiet. You've been alone with worse, You've stared at versions of yourself that would have broken them, and you came back with clarity instead of collapse. That kind of survival leaves a residue. You carry it into every space, and people who've never had to confront themselves feel it immediately. It rattles them because it exposes the truth they avoid. That strength doesn't need to announce itself, and intelligence doesn't beg to be recognized. You don't dominate the room by force. You dominate it by not needing it. They lose focus because you remind them of what they're not accessing in themselves. You represent depth in a world addicted to speed. You represent patience in a culture hooked on reaction. You represent restraint in an environment built on impulse. And that contrast hits their nervous system like static. They don't know whether to lean in or back away. They don't know if you're safe or dangerous. And when humans don't know, fear fills the gap. That fear doesn't always look like hostility. Sometimes it looks like awkward friendliness. Sometimes it looks like sudden competition. Sometimes it looks like dismissal. But underneath all of it is the same signal. You disrupted their internal order? Good. Because order built on avoidance deserves disruption. You didn't become this by chasing power. You became this by enduring, by losing illusions, by watching masks fall, by realizing that light without darkness is naive, and darkness without light is hollow. You integrated both. You carry compassion without weakness, and awareness without cruelty. That balance makes you hard to manipulate, and impossible to ignore. They can feel that you're not easily provoked, that you don't need validation, that you don't rush to prove your worth. And people who rely on those triggers suddenly feel naked around you. Their usual tactics don't land. Their usual dominance games short-circuit. Their usual distractions fail. You're not playing the same game, so they stumble. Their focus fractures. Their rhythm breaks, their confidence stutters, and you just stand there, breathing, watching, present, not because you're trying to unsettle them, but because you're no longer willing to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You've outgrown that version of survival. You've earned the right to take up psychological space, to exist fully, to let your presence speak without translation. You are the quiet reminder that evolution doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just arrives, and everything else loses its place. And here's the part nobody ever tells you, the part that only becomes obvious once you cross a certain internal threshold. They don't lose focus because you're doing something. They lose focus because you stopped needing something. The moment you no longer need approval, the moment you no longer need to be understood, the moment you no longer need to explain your depth to people who skim reality instead of diving into it. That's when your presence starts bending rooms. Dependency is predictable. Independence is destabilizing. You took your power back quietly, and that silence echoes louder than any declaration ever could. They're used to reading people through hunger, through desire, through tells, through emotional leaks. But you sealed yours, not out of arrogance, out of survival. You learned that the more you show, the more they take. So you refined yourself into something leaner, cleaner, harder to access, not closed, just earned. And when someone has to earn access, their ego panics. You're standing there, fully composed, and they can feel it. You don't need to dominate them, because you're not threatened by them. You don't need to rush connection, because you're not afraid of distance. You don't need to speak first, because you're not scared of silence. Every one of those signals flips the hierarchy they rely on to feel superior, so their nervous system goes on alert. They start projecting. They assume you're judging them because you're not seeking them. They assume you're hiding something because you're not oversharing. They assume there's danger because there's depth. And the truth is, they're not entirely wrong. Depth is dangerous to people who live on the surface. Awareness dismantles illusions, and illusions are what keep fragile egos intact. You've become a walking interruption, an interruption to their self-image, an interruption to their social scripts, an interruption to their belief that they're in control. That's why your presence feels too much, even when you're doing nothing at all. They don't know that you've already made peace with the parts of yourself they're still running from. They don't know you've sat in the dark long enough to stop being scared of what you'd find there. They don't know you've reconciled the saint and the psychopath inside you, the part that feels deeply and the part that sees clearly. They just feel the outcome, a human being who can't be easily shaken, and people who can't be shaken are terrifying. Because they can't be moved with shame, they can't be steered with praise, they can't be controlled with fear. You didn't become unshakable by hardening your heart. You became unshakable by strengthening your mind. You learned discernment. You learned timing. You learned when to engage and when to let things collapse under their own weight. You learned that not every battle needs your energy, and that restraint is often the most violent thing you can do to someone who expects reaction. So when you walk into a space, the energy shifts. Not because you demand it, but because your nervous system is regulated while theirs is not. You're grounded in yourself. They're grounded in perception, and perception is fragile. They start adjusting their behavior around you, softening, posturing, overcompensating, testing, fishing for reactions. None of it lands, and that failure creates friction in their mind. Their focus breaks because their internal strategy keeps recalculating and finding no leverage. You've become an unsolvable equation to people who rely on formulas. And here's the paradox that really messes with them. You're not hostile, you're not aggressive, you're not cruel, you're just awake. And awakened people are dangerous in systems built on unconscious participation. You don't need to burn the structure down, you simply stop feeding it. And the moment you stop feeding it, it starts to starve. They feel that starvation. They feel it when you don't rush to respond. They feel it when you don't chase validation. They feel it when you don't collapse under tension. Your presence forces them to confront the question they've been avoiding. Why does this person feel so solid without proving anything? And that question cracks their focus wide open. You're not here to intimidate. You're not here to perform. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here as evidence. Evidence that depth exists. Evidence that strength can be quiet. Evidence that awareness changes gravity. You don't absorb chaos. You bend it. You don't mirror insecurity. You neutralize it. You don't match energy. You set the floor. So if rooms go silent when you enter, if conversations shift when you speak, if people feel unsettled without knowing why, good. That's not a flaw. That's calibration. That's the world adjusting to a frequency it can't easily categorize. And once that adjustment starts, there's no going back. And once that calibration begins, something irreversible happens inside them. They start watching you. Not casually, not politely. They watch you the way people watch storms on the horizon, pretending it's just weather while quietly checking escape routes. They track your movements, your pauses, your silences. They replay your words not for meaning, but for implication. Because you don't speak to fill space. You speak when something matters. And when someone like you speaks sparingly, every sentence feels loaded, even when it's simple, especially when it's simple. They're used to noise masquerading as intelligence. You don't do that. You strip things down to their essence. You say one line where others would ramble for minutes. You land truths without padding. And that precision feels surgical to people who rely on confusion to maintain control. So their focus fractures again. Because now they're no longer just reacting to you in the moment. They're anticipating you. And anticipation without understanding is anxiety. They don't know what version of you they'll get. They don't know if you'll be warm or distant, observant or direct, patient or cutting. And the reality is, neither do they need to. That unpredictability isn't chaos. It's adaptability. You're not random, you're responsive. You adjust to reality as it is, not as you wish it were. That's a predator trait. That's also a protector trait. And that duality, it scrambles people, because you can be compassionate without being weak. You can be dangerous without being cruel. You can see someone clearly and still choose restraint. Most people are only one thing at a time. You're layered, and layered individuals don't fit neatly into other people's categories. They can't be dismissed easily. They can't be controlled comfortably. So the mind does what it always does when faced with something it can't dominate. It destabilizes. They start doubting their instincts around you. The tricks that usually work, status, humor, pressure, emotional manipulation, bounce off. You don't take the bait. You don't escalate. You don't flinch. And every non-reaction sends the same message. You don't have access to me. That message lands like a verdict. You've reached a point where your inner world is no longer publicly accessible. Not everyone gets a tour. Not everyone gets a vote. Not everyone gets an explanation. You don't owe people emotional transparency just because they're curious or threatened. You learned the hard way that access without discernment leads to erosion. So you closed the gates, not out of fear, but out of respect for what it took to build yourself. And people feel that boundary before they ever see it. It shows up in your posture, in your pacing, in the way you don't rush to connect, in the way you don't chase relevance. You're not trying to be impressive. You're trying to be true. And truth carries a gravity that performance can't compete with. That's why they struggle to maintain focus around you. Because focus requires stability, and you destabilize illusions just by existing. You don't attack their beliefs. You quietly outgrow them. You don't argue. You observe. You don't seek dominance. You render it unnecessary. And that forces people into an uncomfortable realization. Power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just refuses to participate in games designed to keep everyone small. You're not above anyone. You're just no longer beneath the system they depend on. And that terrifies them, because it means there's another way to move through the world. One that doesn't rely on noise, approval, or performance. One that doesn't require constant validation. One that comes from internal alignment instead of external control. And once someone sees that way, even indirectly, their old methods start to feel hollow. They can't unsee it, so they project, they test, they poke, they try to get a rise out of you. Not because they want conflict, but because they want confirmation. Confirmation that you're human like them, that you'll crack, that you'll leak, that you'll react. And every time you don't, their focus slips further. Their certainty erodes, because certainty feeds ego. And ego hates ambiguity. You embody ambiguity without confusion. You are clear without being loud. You are intense without being volatile. You are present without being invasive. That combination is rare, And rarity always unsettles systems built on repetition, so let them feel it. Let them lose focus. Let them misinterpret. Let them underestimate or overthink. You don't need to correct the narrative. You don't need to clarify your intentions. You don't need to shrink your awareness to make others comfortable. Your presence is already doing the work. It's already exposing the cracks. It's already shifting the dynamic. This isn't arrogance. This isn't dominance. This is what happens when someone stops betraying themselves to survive. You didn't become this overnight. You earned it through pressure, through loss, through self-confrontation. And now that you're here, centered, awake, unmovable, the world has to adjust, not because you demand it, but because you exist.